Hello, everybody. Over the holidays, I was getting caught up on a bit of work, and I was reading an article from a group that sends me things periodically. I'm not entirely sure why I get them. Could be because I'm just on a bishop's list, but um, I try not to just pass over them. I try to actually read these things just in case there's something in them. And this one had an interesting thought. It was talking about people's spiritual lives, and especially people who serve in the church and who might be um, concerned about spiritual burnout and stuff. There's a lot to talk about. We talk about self care quite a bit, and as we should with every group, not just clergy. Um, but sometimes we get into the whole, do we have a good work rhythm? Do we Are we taking our days off? Are we praying? And if we're praying, then are we praying properly? And this one article started talking about emotions and the importance of acknowledging emotions. It was pretty powerful because it was reminded me of how many times have you heard in things you should do a body scan, sort of go through your head and your body, like where are you peaceful, what's anxious, and can you, like, thinking about preparing yourselves for prayer, sort of, if your shoulders are knotted, sort of breathing into your shoulders and doing exercises to help them to just relax, or if your stomach's upset or something, and like feeling the physical things, or same thing if you're trying to fall asleep at night and you're struggling, doing a body scan of what's aching, what can you do, can you shift, can you breathe, do you need, do you need some 8535 or a pillow under your knee, or that's not what they say, but you know what I mean. Well, this one talked about the importance of emotions, and quite often we get run into this trap where we think emotions are bad. How many times recently have we heard in politics to the south of us, a particular leader saying things to women about them being aggressive or being emotional, as an insult? And I think maybe men sort of, I'm not a man, can't speak for men, but something I have observed from my own family and people I work with and things I've read is that men are taught that emotions are feminine, hence bad. You can't be emotional and be a man. Women, on the other hand, are taught that having emotions is too feminine and that we shouldn't. There seems to be a rule, sort of an unwritten rule out there, that nobody should have any emotions, which is hooey. Well, like, we've been given emotions. God gave us emotions. And I came across this thing about honoring our emotions. And this question, this is a question that was asked in the article, why would God give us emotions if they were not meant to be honored or integrated? And I read that and it was like, haha, epiphany moment. How come you've never thought of that before? I mean, I've done some therapy. I've gone to counselors over the years from time to time, and we've done all this. One of them in particular worked on my parts, which sounded ridiculous, but actually became very, very powerful, in which she actually had me sit down and think about, in this memory. Quite often, she took me back to when I was a child. So, in this memory, what are your parts saying? Is your anger the part that is anger, the part that is humiliation, the part that is joy, the part that is, and then working through what they were saying and acknowledging them, as if it sounds schizophrenic, but it's as if they were a part of who I was, like a little voice in my head, and acknowledging how the part was feeling to help me move past whatever it was holding me back on. It was quite, I think it's called systems theory, which is just different than family systems, which is I thought what I was going to be doing when I started, but it worked out. It was really, really powerful. And from time to time, I bring it back, even though I'm not doing that counseling anymore. From time to time, that was when, after Rob had been sick and I needed some help. But from time to time, I go back to that in my thinking, in my meditating, and I hang on to that for a little bit. And it's really powerful. It works really well. But this idea that, why would God give us emotions? Like, there's nothing in our lives that is an accident. God did it intentionally. We have the ability to taste chocolate, or whatever it is your flavor might be, that makes you just absolutely like, oh, like, wow. How it feels to get a hug from that one person you love the most in the world, or how it feels to go on a roller coaster and realize that even though you're scared of them, you are elated because you did it, and wow, that felt good. What is it about emotions that we are so reluctant to acknowledging them and actually thanking God for them? So, this question, why would God, I wrote it on a post it note, Why would God give us emotions if they were not meant to be honored and integrated? Well, that's amazing. So, one thing I've been trying to do on my holidays is when I take some time to pray or if I'm having trouble falling asleep at night, is not only do I do the body scan, okay, so, and for me, the body scan leads into that guilt gut scan. What did I forget to do? Is there something on my to-do list? Was I supposed to hand something in? Was I supposed to make a phone call? Those things that I really can't deal with in the moment, especially at 3 in the morning. But at least if I acknowledge it and make a plan, then maybe I can relax and know that what is done has been done, what has been left undone has been left undone, and I can then make a plan to deal with it tomorrow. I do that all the time. And then the body scan of what's hurting and things like that. But now I'm trying to integrate this emotion scan. What's keeping me awake? What am I? Am I nervous about something? Am I happy about something? Am I sad? Am I excited? What is it that's going on in my body, in my brain? Because the fact is, I'm beginning to realize that my emotions and my physical presence and my spiritual presence, they're all integrated. If I am feeling anxious, if I am feeling sad or overwhelmed, which I think of as emotions, then I often get a stiff neck or a stomach ache or just general achiness. And if I have those things, then probably I also recognize that my prayer life has come at a balance. So when I integrate these three things and bring them back together, I start to feel better. Even if it's not the feel better of having accomplished or gotten done with it or feel like everything's all done, but at least the feeling better of knowing there's a plan. Can't do anything about that right now, but as soon as I'm possibly able, I will. And then the emotion of anxiety decreases and the stomach ache decreases. And that helps me get back into praying. It's all integrated. So I just really want to encourage you to not overlook your emotions. Embrace them. The good, the bad, the indifferent emotions, like whatever it is, don't push them aside. Go with them. Let God take you on a journey into your emotional self, just as you would let God take you on a journey of healing physically or spiritually. Allow yourself to understand, because I really do believe that our emotions are one of the ways that God speaks through the Holy Spirit to us. That if we're feeling something, that's another way that God is speaking to us. It's like when when I've said before, you get that gut feeling that I don't know why, but I'm anxious about something, so I'm going to call this person. That's often God speaking to us, the Holy Spirit moving us. That can be an emotion as well. So don't underrate your emotions. Don't worry if you're a guy and you feel emotional. You were built that way by God. Say thank you and just accept it. Don't feel unworthy if, as a woman, you feel emotional. That can be our superpower. Either way, how you're feeling, the fact that you can feel that way, that's thanks to God. So let's not overlook that or downplay it or tuck it in the back of our minds. Let's embrace it. And let's integrate that our emotional life into the whole rest of who we are. And we might find that all the rest of who we are is becoming whole. Might be, although I'm not making resolutions, that might be a good thing to work on in 2026. How about you? Have a great day. God bless. And I'll see you again at Church at Home with Rachel.